We're going to go ahead and call this regular session city council meeting to order July 4th, 7 p.m. We'll start it with invocation followed by pledge of allegiance. Ramsey, if you'd lead us, please.
Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. Be with us tonight. Help us understand. Help us make good decisions. Help us do things that are right for the city. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll move on from there. Number 4 is announcements. Council, do we have any announcements? Anything? No. Great. Ramsey?
No, sir.
Okay. City officials? Anything? Nope. Okay, so we'll move on from there. Number 5 will be citizens input related to agenda items, 3-minute time limit. Do we have any?
I have an agenda, a non-agenda, and I feel like I've got one right here. Non-agenda? Okay. Non-agenda for that one then.
Not agenda. Okay, so we have one agenda item from Debbie Carey. Debbie Carey, you're up. 3 minutes, ma'am.
Can I just talk from here? Yeah, I can talk loud.
As long as you can talk loud.
Here, let me bring this over for you.
We can't even hear you.
There's my mic. But you'll have to talk loud enough so James can hear you.
Right.
My question is, why is there no All-American dogs on the agenda? Have they been fired? Can't you just say none if you didn't get a report turned in? Why is the old ordinance about the rules for the city park, why isn't it on the website so that you can kind of read and go along while y'all are rewriting the new rules for the city park? And when that gets written and approved, are you going to put it on the city website for people to see? When will you put February, March, April minutes for EDC on the website? Because they've already been approved and they're written. City minutes, March, April. Did February have special sessions? Yes, they had to. Why don't you hire somebody to catch up the minutes like you did to hire people to turn in info for audits? That's it.
All right, so you know we can't respond to it if you don't get your answers during this meeting. See one of us after. We'll see what we can do to help you get answers. Okay. No other related to agenda items. Did you move that back down for non-agenda? Okay. So that's it for agenda items. Council, you want to move up the other one or just keep going? Go ahead.
Yeah, I make a motion we move the number 10 citizen input 3-minute limit non-agenda related items between 5 and 6 on the consent agenda so that those folks can leave if they would like to leave.
Okay, I have a motion on the table.
I second it.
I've got a second. All in favor?
Let's go. Greg Sprinkle.
Cecilia Irvin.
Motion passed. So we will be moving up number 10 to next. So next will be citizens input 3-minute non-related items. Again, we can't answer you, but if you don't get your answers, we'll try to help you after. I've got 2 of them here. Bill Creed.
You want me to go first? All right. So some of y'all know me, some of you don't. I've lived here for like 40 years, whatever. I used to come in here have fun. And they would turn their heads when they see me come in. But today is not one of those days, thank God, right? Today I want to tell you, I've been in Montana for the last 6 or 7 months. And so I keep up with everything that goes on down here with Facebook, YouTube, and everything else. And from what I've seen, y'all have done a pretty good job. There's no reason for me to say anything bad about that. I talked to the chief about it, and he's going to take care of it. I do have a guy that lives next door to me that decided to open up a motorcycle shop in his garage, and it literally pisses me off. Because I had a computer store, which makes absolutely no sound, and I was told I had to get me a building, and I did pay $1,200 for 20 years. So maybe y'all could rent that building next to the park for the guy or something. It would benefit him and me. But other than that, y'all have done a good job. I enjoy reading the stuff. I know there's some stuff that's personal and they throw that out there, but come on, everybody does that, right? Especially to the politicians. And just keep up the good work, and the town's starting to look a lot better. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, we'll move on there. Debbie Carey, got you again.
Again?
July 6, 2026, I believe a TOMA violation occurred by discussing, not on the EDC agenda, a discussion about possible new members. Future agenda items, they discussed a special session for July 20th. Kathy Bledlows is applying to be on our board. Somebody named April may be interested in being on the board. Kathy O'Neill has been having health issues and has asked to resign a couple of times this year. She believes she will be turning in her resignation. Chase Sprinkle may be good for the board. On July 20th, they are going to discuss and or take action on removing Kathy O'Neill as treasurer, but she's already been told that she's being removed as treasurer, and I think it upset her, and I think now she wants to resign from the EDC. Discuss and take action to accept resignation that has not been brought in front of City Council. We ought to vote on that. According to Texas Local Government Code Section 501.062, a city council can remove an EDC director at will by state law. This power belongs to the governing body of the municipality, the city council, not the EDC board itself, because this requires official council action generally needed to be brought before. I feel like maybe that since she left the fire department, that maybe the mayor, fire chief has a grudge against her. What brought this on that you want her not to be treasurer? Because she resigned from the fire department board?
Is that all you have?
And can I just say, if you need to contact me, I'm the president of the EDC, talk with me after the meeting, okay? And I can answer your question.
Okay, if there's no other citizens input, we'll move on to number 6, consent agenda items. Council, you all got the consent agenda items in your packet. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, a few things, there's a lot of things missing. I didn't see the city council minutes in it. I didn't see the municipal court reports. Did not see the public works that came in later. So that utility billing reports, I didn't see. Okay, yeah, didn't see a lot of things in it.
Okay.
So we can approve it without those.
One of the things that's not listed here anymore is the All American Dogs report, and it's in the community
Yeah,
development.
I saw that.
You hear that?
I didn't hear what.
The All American Dogs report is now listed in the community development report. It's in that packet. It's in the community development report.
Meeting.
No.
It's just not on the consent
It's
agenda.
not on the consent agenda. It's part of the community development director's report. It's included in that.
Okay,
It's just not listed separately.
Okay, so you have several missing. You're interested. See if there's any other discussion before we move on to a motion. Council? Any other discussion on the consent agenda items?
Only that I would like, on the public works reports, we get a report, but it just says, work orders completed. It doesn't talk about any numbers or give us anything. Really, there's no real detail there. It says there were 2 water leaks, but it just says, I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something like numerous work orders completed. I would really like to have the data on the work orders that are completed. Like if we do 50, let's talk about 50. We'll talk about all 50 of them, but it will help us make decisions at budget time about staffing, whether or not we have enough, whether we have too much, whatever. And without something that tells us how many work orders did we get, how many did we complete, then we really can't tell if we're doing a good job giving you the materials and the staff to do your job.
I agree.
Any other discussion? Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through M, except city secretary's report.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Is it there?
Uh-huh.
No, I saw administrators, but I didn't see secretary.
Secretary.
It is there?
Uh-huh.
No, mine's not there. I sent a red email letting you guys know that it would be the next one.
Okay. So
Look
if
last
she
month.
says it's not there,
Okay, no, I believe you. I'm just going to look and see what I.
except that, except the council meetings and the financial report, it was all zeros, nothing in it. And the municipal court reports, public works, I saw that. Utility billing reports, except all of those, I make a motion that we approve it.
Okay, so except for the secretary's report,
A, C, E, and H.
A, C,
SAD, E,
B is
and
there.
H.
D is there.
But there, it's all zeros, nothing else, it's all zeros.
It was re-uploaded. It was a corrupt file, so I re-uploaded the file.
You got a new one in there? Okay. Okay, so I accept that.
okay. And then you seconded it?
Yeah.
You got your notes? All in favor, council?
Let's go. Yes, yeah.
Cecilia Urban.
Motion passed. Okay, we'll move on from there. 7, old business discussion and or action on ordinance number 331-06-09-2026, rules and regulations for the use of the public park within the city.
I'll practice this.
Yes, sir.
Please. So staff has been working with Councilmember Sprinkle on changes that we discussed at the last meeting. Incorporated most of those changes this morning, and then finally this afternoon got the proposed revised fee schedule table in there. And I apologize that it's taking so long. We had a lot of things at City Hall the last couple of days, so that it had to kind of get done in between other things. So we understand that it may not be finalized tonight, but we want to get the changes that we have in front of council.
Have you guys had a chance to review the changes yet?
Not the latest one.
I got to review all of it earlier today, except finding the fees section, and I really like what they've done. So it looks really good, but I don't necessarily need to.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like we can vote on it tonight. We need to probably table it. But give y'all a chance to review it some more and finish it.
Yeah, respectfully, I would suggest y'all look at the fee table so that if we need to make changes to that, we can do so well in advance of the next meeting.
So do you want to send any questions or comments?
I think we can discuss it now. It's up to.
Yeah, you can discuss it now if you got something you're ready to discuss, definitely.
Well, I was looking at 4.001, and there's a blank in here on the size of group.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't
That's
sure.
that's an item to be discussed.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it kind of really didn't talk about reservations and that portion of it. I know it's kind of listed up here, but it didn't kind
They get
They
more
call
in
it
depth
out.
in the back.
of, okay.
But you're right.
Well,
What's
I
a good,
think y'all
what's
did
a
a really
good
good
number?
job.
What do you think, what do you guys think is a good number for the, how many people you can put in there without, you know, in a pavilion if you're, because it also says in there now that they're first come, first serve unless they're reserved. It also says that the park is open 24 hours. But it spells out, and rather than the old document read like a list of don'ts, the new document reads like the park's here for you to use. If you break a law, do something that is illegal or whatever, then we're going to come get, or then we're going to treat you as a common criminal. So the police will be able to do their job. It doesn't spell out anything, as many specific things that are not worth it. But I was thinking something like 20 on the people. But that's up to you guys. I don't know what a good number is. I don't have a giant.
How many people can be in the pavilion?
Yeah, so you can go, if you have more than 20 or 25 or 30 or 40 people, some number, then we're gonna say that you do need to have a permit for that many people. But I want y'all's input on what that number is.
How many people can fit under there?
Depends on which pavilion, really, honestly.
I would just say like 25 square feet per person or something.
25 square feet per person.
Is that too much? Maybe 9. Maybe
You guys
9.
are really big friends.
Okay, so
Yeah, maybe 9. 3 by 3, you know, 3 by 3 per person. You know? That's not too much. 3 by 3.
I don't know about a number, but it just seems kind of wishy-washy to me, like, are you gonna charge, are you gonna reserve it, or are you not gonna reserve it, and where's that line crossing, and y'all wanna make it a number of people?
Well, no. So you have to reserve it if you want it for sure. But if you're just gathering in the park and you've got, when 20 of your friends show up and you get under a pavilion and there's nobody reserving it, I don't think we care, do we?
I don't think we care.
Okay, I get what you're saying now.
At some point, does it become a safety thing though? Start gathering more people than you really need, then you might want to have some knowledge of that there is a larger gathering.
I would just be concerned about a group that would decide they were going to do something at the park, not reserve anything, just show up. It's Sunday afternoon and there's 70 people there that have taken over a section of the park without us having any notice or any control, and that would be a safety thing.
But they're not
Necessarily
all
getting
going
a
to
permit would be.
they're not all
Get
going
any
to
input there?
pavilion, they'll be out.
When it comes to safety issue,
I mean, we can handle large groups and stuff. I mean, I would have no number on there because we can take care of it if they get out of line.
But so they're trying to come up with a number to say we just have a random group of people who show up without a reservation. Is there a number that you would like to have a knowledge and knowing?
One of the ways that I would think we should look at it is we need to be able to give you something that allows you to go enforce something at the park, right? Because if there's nothing that says there's more than 20 or more than 40 or whatever, then there's nothing that says you can go over there and break it up if it is being a problem, right? But if we're not giving you something to enforce, if there's 40 people over there and it's not an issue, I don't really care if we mess with them or they have a permit. But if there's 40 people over there and they're causing a problem and I don't give you an actionable item to be able to go stop it, then I have a problem. Lee, am I saying that right?
Well, I think I understand what you're getting at, but there is definitely, the police will have the ability to stop any issues that are going on. And so if one person is there all by themselves causing problems, the police can still stop that. So that's not a problem.
Okay.
But if there's a disturbance, they can deal with it. So does
We
that
had
make sense?
discussed having a number, but I'm not. So we can take the part about the number out because the end of that paragraph says if it's a nuisance or keeps other people from enjoying the park, then they're out.
That's
everybody in agreement?
I can,
Yeah.
Now, if 1,000 people show up,
Well, now we
be
gotta
one
know.
ahead of that.
Yeah. Finally got him to commit.
That would take the whole city to make it that big.
what else?
It was just,
That's good.
I mean, myself, I've got enough to probably bring 150 people to if I want to have a party down here, so.
I don't remember that election.
And he plans on calling. And you plan on causing trouble too, right?
Well,
I like the way this reads a whole lot better. Y'all did a good job on that, because last week that looks really good.
So I want to suggest you guys look at the fees
Yeah.
and see what you think of those. I did, we did, discuss those quite a bit.
So any other discussion? We want to table it to allow them to finish it?
There's some input on the deposits for the special use or the whole park.
I make a motion, we table it until we have time to review it and then make suggestions and edits.
But before you do that, in the last meeting, we said, you and Chris decide the fees, right?
And we did yesterday. We did sit down and do it, but now that we've done it, we want you guys to have the ability to say, this is ridiculous, this is good, this is, you know what I mean? Before we put it on paper, we also did it in a fee schedule on a separate page, which you don't have to change the ordinance to change the fee schedule.
Okay, so I've got a motion on the table to table it. Do I get a second?
I'll second.
We've got a second.
Let's go.
Ramsey, Mindy?
Correct, one.
Yes, yeah.
This one,
Motion passed. You got a chance to finish it up.
Lee, is there any way we can suspend the opening and closing times on the current ordinance until this is finished? The new ordinance is gonna say that the park is open 24/7,
Okay.
but the old ordinance says that it closes at 9 PM and opens at 6 AM. And it's forcing us to use resources at odd times to open and close the park. And my question is there any way to suspend that piece of the ordinance to allow the park to be open while we finish the fee schedule?
Well, that particular thing isn't on the agenda, is
Okay.
the issue. I mean,
Okay.
so that would concern me. I can say, well,
If we can't, we can't. I just wanted to ask the question.
it's a question of enforcement, though. If the city didn't want to pursue enforcement of the opening and closing times, then it could make in all.
We want to make sure we're following our own ordinances.
True, yes,
So, okay. It was worth a shot.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on from there under, old business. B, discussion and action to approve contract extension with Axon Enterprise. Chief Alderson.
I think I don't know if I answered all of y'all's questions, everything that I've sent to y'all, if y'all have any questions about it.
So in the last meeting, we were not trying to say, don't do this or don't do that. This is what we're trying to say. So you have new young recruits coming right out of the academy, right? So a few years from now, we don't want them to say, okay, somebody asked them, hey, what kind of technology you have? These guys, oh yeah, we have technology from my grandmother's time. We don't want them to say that. We want you to have the best. We want you to have the latest. That was our intent. So that's why we were saying, instead of, if we say we have a 10-year contract, you're going to have something stupid. You will not have the latest. I can guarantee you that you're not going to have the latest. Like 3 years ago, when we did the license plate readers, it was the greatest thing. We did a lot of good things for the city. Now it's not good enough. It's not the best. It's not what we want. So in 3 years, things changed. So if we have a long contract, it's going to happen every single time. So that's why I was saying, let's just keep it short. Let's say if we have a 3-year contract. After 3 years, if there's something great, you have a choice to get it. But if you lock it in for 10 years, you're screwed. I mean, then recruits will say, we have the worst technology, I'm leaving, I'm going to go to another city. We don't want that to happen. So that is all we were trying to do. The shorter the contract period, the better it is for you and for the city. So that's why I was, I was saying, let's just do a 3-year contract. We can do 3 or maybe 4 or whatever it is.
They'll do a 5-year contract as well as to go.
5-year contract. Why can't they give us a 3-year contract?
Because they don't do 3 years. They do a 5-year contract.
So we got the contract yesterday at 1:30.
Okay. In the
So we
contract,
haven't had a lot of
out
time.
of the contract. Say if we want out in 3 years, we can get out of the contract.
it's been 2
We can
years.
get out of the contract We can get out of the contract, and we can clear after 3 years. If 6 months we want out of it, we can get out of it.
We can get out of it
Yeah.
without
I
paying
gave you a
for,
copy of the contract.
no,
the
no,
way it
without
reads.
paying for the rest of the time?
Yeah.
We can?
So,
That's fine.
If it's not in our budget, we can get out of it without paying it.
well, if it's not in our budget,
If it's not in our
that's a
budget.
caveat that we might not, that we, it might not be because it's not our preference. I would prefer that we have legal review a contract that they're asking us to do. I don't think any of us want to stop you from getting it. We just want to keep from having, we want to keep from committing.
They've already had it, so they're just trying to extend what they have now. They've already been using it for 5 years.
Sure,
But if you wanted to go.
That's on the 5 years that I've used. I mean, you can go talk, DPS wants our system, because they went to Motorola. There's other cities that.
Weatherford and Willow Park went to Motorola, and they're, and they're saying theirs is the greatest, because I went to research, found out who else was using those particular ones.
They don't have everything.
So,
But that's on.
all I'm asking for is that we get somebody to review something before we put a 10-year signature on it. What's the cost difference between the 10-year and year to year?
About 3,000.
I sent y'all all this.
Yeah, $3,000 a year. That's, $300 a month, $270
I
a
sent
month.
you all this.
I understand. We got it yesterday at 1:30.
Okay.
So,
So that's what we had come out of the last meeting was we were asking to drop it down to somewhere around 5 years and make sure Lee got a chance to review it before it came back to us. Came back to us yesterday. Lee, have you had a chance to?
I did go through it actually, and didn't
Yeah.
didn't look like a bad contract. Because I just want to be able to get out of it, if we have something better. And when Chad, when someone says, we can only do 5-year contract,
Right.
that's just baloney. I had been on the sales side. Sales side, they can do a 1-year contract, they can do 2-year contracts, they can do month to
Well,
month
they can, but
contract.
it's gonna be
There's
a lot
so
more
many
expensive
flexible
than a
things they can do. When somebody says, I can only do 4-year, 3 months, 20 days, and 20-second contracts, makes no sense.
But if you do a 2-year contract, you just buy new equipment every 2 years or a year or what?
We just want to be able to get out. I mean, that's why legal is going to look at it. We just need to be able to get out if there is something better.
While we have this discussion open, Chief, would you like to briefly talk about the refreshes that are involved in this? Because when we talk about whether the technology will still be current, it sounds like we're speaking with disregard to some of the language that's in the proposal about refreshing the equipment regularly. But Chief, do you want to go over that?
Yeah, because on the 5-year plan, like the one we was on before, it's only a 2 refresh. With the 10-year plan, it's 6 to 7. So as technology, if the latest piece of equipment comes out with the 10-year, then we get that. With the 5-year, we only get with what's available at certain times.
Yeah, John, we get that, a few years ago, when you and I, you're old enough to say that, when internet came, the only browser in town was Netscape. Nobody thought it could be upstaged, it could be replaced. That's the only game in town. Then came Chrome and the others, Netscape went bankrupt. We just want you to give you the opportunity to get the best. That's all we are trying to do.
I don't
So
want to
be
be
flexible
rude, but
enough.
at the time that came out, it was the best technology.
I know.
So why would we,
Right.
would you not buy it, hoping that someday something better would come out, and then you're just waiting around for that?
No.
So right
We are
now,
saying
this
no,
is the
let's
best
do it.
top
We're saying let's do
technology
it.
that there
The
is.
other option would be to get a whole bunch of them. We have like 5 different companies. We don't have an IT person to manage all those.
Hey, talk a little louder, I can't hear you.
You'd have to get different companies to do each thing that they need done. Like there with Exxon, it's everything in one company. Otherwise, you'd have to have 4 different companies do their body cam and another company to do this. And you're contacting 5 different people for support.
Yeah, because the Motorola body cam will not sync with our dash cam.
No.
Motorola don't make
Let me
faces.
make it clear,
so none of
this is good. I'm not against it. You're saying, this is good for now. This is good for the next 2-3 years. This is good. Go with it. But give us the flexibility to get out of it if there is something better. That's all we are saying.
But we had that
Well,
in
it's
the
been good for
contract.
5 years now,
So
and it's just.
You'll get there. You just gotta pay more money.
I don't know.
It'll be more money for 2 years.
I read part of it. I couldn't get all the way through because it's 46 pages. But I saw a recommendation there. It looked to me like the salesperson was recommending amending a 5-year contract. But again, there was no way I could absorb all of that on the short notice. So,
Paul, what were you trying to
a
say?
5-year thing is a short enough term. I could,
I was just saying that then, when we got it 5 years ago, going on 5 years almost, that's why we're here. We got it 5 years ago. It was the top technology then. It's still the top technology 5 years later. I've talked to many departments around here. They want to go Axon. DPS around here wants to go Axon. Of course, it's state contract, so they have to go with Motorola. Caddo Mills has Motorola. That's only because they were already Motorola. So all the departments around here would rather have Axon if they could. We already have it. Why downgrade at this point?
No, do it, just let us give us the opportunity to get out if it's not good enough. That's what,
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Once she
So,
reads the
so what
contract,
would be the minimum number of years you guys would want to sign up?
Well, minimum 10 is 5. I mean, that way we get our refreshes. We've already got one refresh. Like we have our TASER refresh coming. We've already done our refresh on our body cam, which has been great for today. Speaking with Spanish speaking, I don't speak Spanish, and my body camera translated for me. It does 65 different languages. They've only turned that on for me for us to test during this time frame while we're doing this. So there's just a lot of features that is all in one and way better than anybody else. I mean, I'm dealing with other officers out there. I hear them talk about it. And they look at ours and they're like, whoa, county has the same thing. Our DA has the same. Our county attorney uses Axon. So we all use it. And a lot of the deputies wish they had the technology we have. They don't turn that feature on for them, and they're out in the whole county.
So what's the price difference between the 5 years and the 10 years?
I think it was 3,000 a year difference. You do it 5 years, $3,000 more. Like, for the
There's
5
about
years.
half.
So 10
5 years is
10
roughly
years is
half.
cheaper to do per year?
10 years is cheaper, yeah.
But it's not enough to make it like, which doesn't cost you anything to do it for the extra year.
I think it was just half. 5 years was roughly half of 10 years.
But they're extra things out of it because of it.
I think it was roughly half.
Even if we do 5 years, we're just trying to lock in a price for 10 years where it can't go up.
Yeah, I would say,
Everything goes up.
And that 10-year price would be capped too. They won't go above that.
no, I'm willing to go with 5 years, but,
Yeah,
if there is something better, compelling,
yeah, I mean,
we just want to
don't
downstream the
know.
ready to get out.
I mean, 2 years ago, you couldn't land a rocket. And you would use.
You're not against it.
That way we have a set budget number each year going forward unless we change.
And then they're getting rid of flock too, so I'll save money on that too.
For 10 years, it makes no sense.
How much is flock?
But if we can get out of it in
12,000?
between that. But what if we can get out of it in between the
So you
two?
can minus the $12,000 to pay on flock from that number.
A few dollars is not gonna make, we want
12,000.
this city, we want the best actually.
Right.
So I'll make a motion that we approve a 5-year agreement pending attorney approval of the Mueller or Master Software License Agreement. They call it MLPA or whatever. But with the stipulation that it's 5 years and not 10. I just don't want to I don't want to handcuff the city, the city administrator and the city council 10 years from now with something that we made a decision not looking for, it may cost us a few more thousand, but it may also save us a few thousand in 5 years. Right? Because technology not only gets better, it gets cheaper.
and that's the reason we
Or
did
in
it.
5 years may be more expensive to somebody else.
That's
The
true.
first
That's
5
true.
years.
That's a gamble. You're right.
I'm,
It may cost so much.
Nobody knows.
Mind you, I'm moving fast, but on this, but just kind of a bird's eye of what I'm looking at is there is a way to terminate if the city does not appropriate sufficient funds or those are otherwise unavailable or otherwise legally unavailable. That does mean that if you try to still appropriate funds to use a different company, you're not getting out of the contract. They're going to say, no, you still have funds that you could have used for us. So it's not going to be the straightforward cancellation. Now, that's not necessarily, Axon is, they're not wrong. Axon's used pretty widespread. It is a very popular company and they do a lot. But I don't want there to be the thought that you would just be able to go, no, we don't want to use them anymore. If we've got the ability to appropriate the funds, we did appropriate the funds, you're still under that contract. You can't just switch providers.
We got it. So
I stay with the 5-year motion. I made a motion to
I
approve
didn't-
the
You still want to
5-year
review it some more?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
pending attorney approval.
I'll second it.
that.
Okay, well, who wants it?
James.
James, okay. So
Alright.
the motion is to approve the 5-year contract pending legal's review of the master service agreement?
Yes.
Have it written down. James, you seconded it?
Randy Lindsay, Greg Sprinkle.
Gibson.
Julia Irvin.
Motion passed. You got everything you need on that?
Yes.
Okay. We'll move on from there. New business. A, discussion regarding the Emergency Service District, ESD, and the City of West Tawakoni. Chad Jacoby.
This is somewhat mine, but I got something to ask before we go over it. It's not, tonight isn't really about me. It's about whether an elected council member actually has the authority to bring business before this council, or whether someone else can simply decide what gets voted on and what doesn't. I submitted an agenda item requesting discussion and action. Before this meeting, the action portion disappeared. No one asked my permission. No one explained why. No legal authority was cited. The result is simple. The public sees an agenda that no longer reflects what an elected official actually requested. That's not a small administrative change. That changes what this council can legally do tonight. But I have several questions that deserve clear answers for the public record. Mr. Briquette, did you authorize this change? And if so, under exactly what authority?
Yes, I did, because we've already submitted.
And then who instructed staff to alter the agenda?
Nobody instructed them to alter it. It was instructed what to put on there. It was never altered.
So can somebody identify the statute, ordinance, or charter provision or attorney general's opinion that authorizes removing the action portion from another elected official's agenda item without that member's consent? If there isn't one, then we need to acknowledge that tonight. We were elected equally. The voters elected every one of us, not just one office. If my proposal was weak, vote it down publicly. But don't prevent the council from even having the opportunity to vote. Government works best when decisions are made in public, not before the meeting ever starts. I respectfully request clear answers tonight. That's all I got.
That's all you had on it?
That's all I got.
Did you have something you wanted to bring up on it?
You know, I've read this thing, in terms of the agenda item, no, I have no comment on that. I have read this thing about this ESD creation. And I have some questions. I see plenty of benefits to it. I'm going to keep an open mind between here and the election. And I think it's our duty as a council to educate our citizens, show them the pluses and minuses, and let them make that decision. So, that's.
They need to understand that it's not a fire department they're petitioning for. It's a tax and it's a property for the petition.
Absolutely.
It's not an actual, I think people are confused that they're petitioning for a fire department. They're not petitioning for that. It's for a tax.
Well, yes, it does create a tax. The question though really is a public safety issue. And so the question is, do we want to stay with the arrangement that we've got here?
It doesn't say.
Do we want to, I don't know. They have what,
I don't think
five,
it is.
okay. So how are you gonna make it better without funding? If the city were to fund it at the same level that the ESD could at max, the city could contribute $165,000 a year. That ESD will raise $2.6 million a year. And that's going to be divided amongst 3 fire organizations.
Not completely. There's overhead, there's contingency. The rough number will be somewhere around $600,000 to $700,000 per fire department.
Okay. So 5 times the funding that we've got today. Along with the audits, transparency that I know people are looking for, along with training and equipment requirements. So I think there's a lot to look at here. This is no more. It's clear. It is a public safety issue, and it's a public safety issue that ain't that expensive. I know there are a lot of people out there that a couple of $100 a year is going to hurt, but I can tell you that if somebody came to me and said, "Would you sign up for a subscription to have professional paid firefighters for $300 a year?" Absolutely, I do.
So I want to say this.
Be qualified too. I mean, you're talking about qualified versus volunteer, and that's a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely,
Because they're still not, they're still staying nonprofit. They'll still be the nonprofit fire department. The ESD
Okay.
separate.
I want to say this. So it was brought to council two months ago to allow us to allow the citizens to vote on it. That part we did. Today, the county commissioners approved to allow it to go to ballot. Now, it'll be up to the ESD board to come out and educate all of us on what it can do, what it can't do, the benefits, and all of it. There's going to be lots and lots of discussion going on about it. It is plainly a tax increase. It will benefit, it will hurt. But that's where it has been put in the citizens' hands for them to vote and make the decision.
But we
And if I can,
also-
let me add to that. I've already reached out to the chamber to see if we can use their facility. And I want to come in and present facts absolutely separate from what the ESD proposal is and Mr. Biggers, because I have a different set of questions. I went to the county commissioner, was it last week or week before? And I listened to the presentation, it's very convincing. But there are questions that I have that are outside that and completely different. Because I think they're protections that the city needs if we were to approve that. And we need to know, we need to talk about those.
But I think you need to word that differently, and that is, we need to have those protections if the citizens approve that. Because all we did was give them the right to vote for it. We are not voting for or against it. All we
You know
are
what,
doing.
the citizens need to have transparency. And look, Chris and I have had this discussion many, my name is Alicia Lee. I live in Arrowhead. I own 3 properties in Arrowhead. We have to have transparency. We have to have it. If we present a FOIA to you, we need to get that information without all this other stuff that you do with. Let us have the information that, and look, then I may not mind paying the tax. But if I don't have transparency with you, I'm gonna dig my heels in. I'm gonna be honest.
Sure.
Because you know what? We haven't had that with you. And hey, I've been one that's been on you like really heavy with you. You know, and I want transparency. And I want to maintain a relationship with you. But you know what? The only way that we can have it is whenever, if the city is giving you money, give us the information. We want to know where our money's going. That's all that I've been asking all this time. I want to know where my money is going to. Is it really effective? With this tax right here, I'm like, hell no. You know what? I haven't gotten anything. Chris has never given me anything. You've asked me to go to the fire department. But you know what? It's not the same.
Okay.
I don't want to sit with you at the fire department. I want you to give it to me.
Okay, I'm being told I got to keep it on track.
Okay.
We've opened up a dialogue and we'll continue to move down that aisle. I need to keep it moving up here.
We're gonna have town hall meetings to talk about just the ESD.
Yes.
Where we can sit and listen to the questions. I have questions. I would like to have the questions answered that I asked at their presentation that haven't been answered. So it's, I don't think it's as much, I'll save my comments for the town hall.
Well, let me know when you're gonna have it, and I'll be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we all have questions, because we're gonna vote just like you do.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm
we
gonna
have
tell you
questions
something, when
too.
you own 3 houses in Arrowhead, I mean, you got $1 million right there, you don't wanna pay that. And I don't wanna pay that. But I'm telling you right now, I may have a change of heart with it, but right now, I don't, because you know what, I've never seen anything from Chris, even though I've asked him for it, I've never seen it.
Completely different conversation.
And she signed the petition, she didn't know she was signing. What'd they tell you?
I thought, listen, let me say, that was, and I want you to know that I passed it around to everybody that was there that was in Arrowhead, am I right, Chris?
Yes.
I did. But you know what? What I didn't know was that it was a tax. I didn't know that. Had I known that, I guarantee you, all of us probably.
It was, my wife's on the volunteer fire department and she brought that home. How you could not know that was a tax means you did not read the.
Okay, that's not order out there.
I
Okay,
probably didn't read
hold on.
it.
Okay, let's keep it moving. You and I have opened that dialogue. We'll keep it going, but let's keep this going. Any further discussion here from council?
What gave you the legal authority to change it?
Because there's nothing to vote on. It has already been voted and the county already has our agreement.
I still don't think you can change it.
There was nothing to vote. That's why we put it on there as a discussion, so we can discuss it some more, but there was nothing to vote on.
That's all I got.
Anything else? Okay, we're gonna move on from there to B, discussion and or action regarding employees 4/10 work schedule. Cecilia?
Okay, well, I appreciate all y'all, feedback on emails today. I read through all that. I appreciate y'all letting me, know y'all's feelings on it. I'm not only speaking for myself, but I'm speaking for a lot of residents that have come to me stating that they never know who's gonna be here or when they're gonna be here when the city's open. That they're having issues with that and getting people to answer phones and all that sort of thing. So that's why I brought this up for the evening.
How many people complain?
How many?
Yeah, you said you have people that complain about it.
Well, sure. I mean, like I was at an HOA meeting for our neighborhood the other day and everybody kept coming to me. And there was probably 20 people there, but that's not the only people that have talked to me.
I have some fact-finding questions. So long time ago, this must have been a five-day work week, right? When did that change to 4? Do you know? Was it
February.
February.
last year?
So this past February.
2026.
Yes, sir.
So was there a council approval for that, or how was that done?
So it didn't require council approval and the business hours never changed. I did come in and let everybody know at the next meeting that we were going to increase city hall hours and that we were adjusting the work schedules accordingly to there.
So your 4/10s, if somebody's not answering the phone, that has nothing to do with the 4/10s or 5/8s.
Actually, that's
City
not
hall
true.
is
It should
open
not,
Monday through
because there's
Friday.
not supposed to be somebody here.
So 50% of our staff is off 40% of the week. Half of our staff is off on Mondays and half of our staff is off on Friday, which means we only have 100% of our staff here 3 days a week. 3 out of 5 is 60%. So 40% of our week, 50% of our staff is not here. And so I just want to read one thing to you. Okay. This was in the community development report from this month. All right. This was the All-American Dogs. Friday, 6/19. I patrolled West Tawakoni for loose or deceased animals. I stopped by City Hall, but they are closed 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on a Friday.
June 19th, that was a federal holiday.
That was Juneteenth, okay? And I'm like, but if that's the other part of it, is there's 11 federal holidays. If you take the hours that staff is here versus the hours staff is not here in a regular work week, the number's not very good, not very pretty. And I've had the same complaint Cecilia has on, people not answering the phone, people trying to get, coming to me to get the, signups for the July 4th event, where they called and called and called to get the form, and then finally had to come up here to get it. And to be fair, I don't feel like we were informed very well about what the staff hours changing was. It was at the end of the meeting, and it was, hey, we're going to be open longer at City Hall was what was said. And there was nothing said about we're going from 5/8 to 4/10.
And that's really true that the phones don't get answered. Like I had to call Chad and I had to call Chris.
And my phone gets answered because when they don't get an answer at City Hall, they call my number, which is on the website.
I want to speak to the issue of the phones. I've heard several times that phones don't get answered. I'm here 5 days, 8 hours generally. I sometimes leave an hour too early on Friday. I don't always hear the phone up front. There's a phone up front that's the City Hall phone, and then we each have our individual lines. I'm on a cell phone. I answer my cell phone unless it's after hours or weekend, in which case I'll get back to you. There are two people, the mayor and the city secretary, that have my personal phone to reach me for emergencies. That aside, I don't remember a time that I was here at City Hall that the phone was ringing and didn't get answered. So I understand that it can happen, but I'm curious as to whether it's people calling the City Hall line, calling an after hours number during business hours when it's not monitored, calling someone's individual work phone. I think it's easy to generalize that, somebody called and they didn't pick up. I was told on a Sunday after an event a couple of weeks ago that a resident called our after hours number repeatedly. Our personnel that was monitoring that after hours number said it rang once and they hang up. And, he ended up actually going out and reporting on the thing and fixing the thing, which is great. But the phone ringing and not getting picked up is a thing that I hear, but I don't see. It's fair.
Let me ask you a question.
I'll agree with
Are you on 410?
My phone rings.
Oh, yes, of course it does.
Correct.
Yeah.
Are you on
Yes.
410 or 5/8? I mean,
5/8.
so you're not on 410.
Correct.
So if city has to change it to 410s, does the accountant have to approve it, or you can just make the decision on your own?
I should be able to set the staff schedule, but I'm accountable for A, things getting done, and then B, people getting the service that is a reasonable expectation. Having worked in a city in the past and having dealt with a few cities in the past, and actually one of our staff members took it upon herself to do some research. One of the things that I'm working on with council is bridging the gap between what is an ideal city operation, how cities would love to operate, and the reality on the ground. And we talked about that some in our strategic planning workshop. In order to operate the way an ideal city would operate, we have to have a lot of things that we don't have. We just don't have the staff to cover phones all the time, every day. We just don't have the people to do all the zoning and building standards and code enforcement every day and also get out permits, the same day. We don't have the people to do all of the locates and meters and, ditch things and all these things in the day that they want to happen. It's just not going to happen. And that's a thing that I don't want to make an excuse for staff, but I want to help council understand that we have a mathematical difference in between expectations from the public on when things can get done by city personnel and when physically city personnel are actually able to get things done. So another thing we did was we looked at neighboring cities. Mary, do we have this? Okay. I don't want to make promises that we can't keep, and I also don't want to say we can't do a thing if it's a reasonable expectation to do the thing. The reality is, we surveyed, was it 18 or 19? 17 cities, kind of in the general area. A lot of our direct neighbors on out to Rowlett, Forney, Farmers Branch, Farmersville. Of those, approximately half have a 5-day office week. They're actually open 5 full days a week.
I can send it to everybody, but it's.
Yeah, I'll bring up the actual numbers so that I say this with accuracy. Sorry, I thought we had the ability to get it there.
It's just the keyboards.
I get it. Okay, so we surveyed 17 cities. Out of the 17, only 8 have a 5-day work week. Of those, 5 have a half day on Friday. In other words, they close at 11:30 or 12 on Friday. And one of those 8 offers a 410 option. And one is only open 6 hours a day. So I don't really consider that a comp for us. On the issue of being open on Fridays, only 8 of 17 are open on Fridays at all. So whatever it is that you were hoping would get done on Friday and half the people aren't here to get that thing done, it would be nobody getting that thing done in those cities. But that's aligned with the expectations in those cities. That's something that council and or staff have determined is this is how we're going to do it. And the public now knows not to expect that service on that Friday. Also, of the 8 that are open on Fridays, 5 of them are open only a half day. So I'm just trying to balance the conversation here. I know that there have been times that because a council member's phone rang or because a mayor's phone rang, that a staff member is expected to do a thing, and it happens. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but I'm saying that when we have stacks of work to do, and then we have to pick up a thing because a council member or a mayor said this is going to happen now, then that delays the other things that need to be happening. Also, there is not a person who works in this building, and there is not a department head in the city who has not been called by a mayor or council member to work on a day off, to work on a sick day, to work on a vacation day. And we've all done it. So I just want to balance that conversation about the 410 schedule. That's it.
And I just sent you all the, not you, but all the survey that he did, all the data we pulled.
And I'm gonna have to add, be aware if you close on Fridays, you're gonna have to change when you post your agendas. It makes a big change in terms of what you post on Friday.
It's business days. I mean, if we would adjust the business days that it would be. So if we're closed on Friday, then we would have to move it over earlier day. Yes.
So what I'd like to suggest, just a suggestion, is we figure out before we go making changes of what's going on with the phone. Is it because people aren't here some of those days, or is there something else going on? We've all had the phone call that says, hey, I tried to call City Hall and nobody's answered.
It's not just that.
So
It's not just that,
okay,
yes.
so but before we talk about that, can I throw some math out?
Yes, sir.
Okay? There are 365 days in 2026. Of those 365 days, staff gets 33 days off if they're 2-year employees. If they've been here 2 years, they get 32 days off. If you give them a Monday or a Friday off, they get 52 more days off. Those 52 days work out to, if you took weekends out, there are 261 work days in the year of 365. Their 33 and 52 makes 85 days off. 85 days off equates to 176 days that our employees are actually at work, expected to be at work, to do the things that they're scheduled to do. That 176 days equates to 1,760 man or woman hours. Okay? If you go to a 8-hour day, there are 261, same number of work days, but there are 33 off days, and there are 228 days that they're expected to be at work. Those 228 days times 8 hours equals 1,824 versus 1,760 hours of work time. That's a considerable difference that we're paying for that we don't get. And our expectation level is that we're paying for it. And so just as an example, with the number of holidays, the number of vacation days, the number of PTO days, and the number of sick days that are allowed, that if I was a 2-year employee right now with the city, and I decided to go on vacation Thursday, July 16th, I could stay just using my 2 weeks of vacation that I get on day 1 of year 2. I could be off till August the 4th. And use only my vacation because I could use my Fridays and my vacation days and the weekends and be gone for 3 weeks. But if I had, and I could also call in sick for 3 days after that and be back August the 7th or 8th. I don't feel like we get the value that we pay for. And that's not saying that you guys don't work hard. When you're here, you work hard. I just don't feel like we get the value that we pay for when we pay for, there are 261 work days in a year, and you're here 176 of them.
What was the difference between a 2-week vacation on a 10-hour schedule versus an 8?
Nothing, they get 40 hours. So it really doesn't matter. It's not really done in days, I don't believe, is it, Mary? It's done in hours. So it's 40 hours. So they get the 4 days.
It's the same day.
Yeah, it's the same number of days. And it doesn't change the vacation that you would get.
Right.
You could still do the same thing. But you wouldn't be able to do that using all of those personal days for that time period. Because you can't stack that Friday that you're off. It's just like when the holiday, June 19th, fell on Friday, you got Thursday. And you were already off on Friday. So you really didn't get 11 federal holidays this year. You got 12. And then July 4th fell on a Saturday. So you really got 13.
Except for those of us who work.
So except for those of us that work.
Which was half the city.
Yeah, but we did pay for that, didn't we?
The non-salary.
Yeah. So I just want to say that I don't feel like if 50% of our staff is off 40% of the time and 50% of our year is used in off time, I don't feel like we're getting the value that we're paid.
I think the mathematical argument is compelling, and I understand it. I've worked on contract days, different contract lengths of years, et cetera, and seeing productivity differences. I've just set contract lengths for employees in different settings. It is a compelling argument. As someone who is responsible for trying to keep us staffed, when I look at the schedules of the cities around us, which are most direct competitors for employment, if you're keeping people at our salary levels around this, if they're looking at competitors that are paying more, then you're going outside of city government, which there's plenty. I would not relish having to try to staff this organization with a schedule that is not competitive with our surrounding communities. That's all.
Anybody else?
Anybody else?
I mean, I want to add, I don't have the actual math numbers to it, but when it comes to absenteeism, doctor's appointments, things to do with kids and school schedules, having that extra day, since the majority of all of our kids are on a 4-day schedule, we try to adapt to that by scheduling those things around the school schedule. And when you're working a 5-day work week, you are going to end up being absent more to be able to take care of things of that nature, like going to the doctor, taking your kids to the doctor, dentist, of that nature.
So how do the so we have 25 employees. How do the 2,100 other employees that's
25 employees? We currently have 18.
Okay, so how do I didn't want to shortchange the number of employees. I hope we get to 25. But there are 700 kids in the Quinlan ISD, some of them from West Tawakoni. All of those, there's only a possible 18 of them as parents that work for the city of West Tawakoni. How do those other 682 parents deal with the 5-day work week and their kids being off? I get it that it makes it easier.
If their parents work for the city of Quinlan, it's easy because they're on a 4-day schedule.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of, and I did not do the research for other outside municipal government entities, that a lot of people are adopting a 4-day work week as well.
I'm just gonna say, I was a single mom raising my son from him being in kindergarten. I never got the amount of days off that y'all have off, and I had to raise him, and we survived through it. Sure, yeah, I would love to have had 4 days, but that's not reality. I mean, that's not reality when you've got a job to do and things don't get out on time and we don't get any heads up of, you know, anything moving forward. You know, things don't, it seems to be moving the other direction instead of, you know, y'all are wanting more people. I don't see it. I'm not gonna vote for it if y'all are only working 4 days a week. I'm just not going to. I've worked 5 days till I retired.
There's a difference in perspective when you come from a corporate background, project management, software development, sales, because those industries work the way they work. Actually, a lot of them do have 410s, by the way. In city government, for people who generally take lower salaries and expect generally better benefits, which are really not the case in this city. Flexibility to deal with family issues, to take time for your family, to do other things is an important perk. And that's why you see so many cities, not just in this area, but throughout the country, offer an alternate schedule other than just a 5-day schedule. I'm not saying we can't do it the other way. I'm saying that we will not be competitive as an employer.
I disagree, but I don't really want to get into all the pay ranges
Well,
tonight.
they're
I've
still
looked
working
at that.
40 hours. They're just,
Okay. But I'm just saying,
44 hours.
well, as a salaried employee all of my life, there was never a week I just worked 40 hours in construction. I mean, it was doing good if I wasn't doing 60, so you're not getting sympathy on that one either.
But I'm hearing these,
James,
it's just,
go ahead, James.
hearing these two sides, we are not getting any closer, You got a position, we got a, I think, we can probably work this thing out to some kind of a degree. I mean, I don't think we have to say 5 days from tomorrow. It's not what we're saying, but we've got to address the issue. There is an issue. I see significant amount of emotions. It's got to be, it's got to be worked out one way or the other. I think we can work it out. It's not, we have done bigger things. It's not, it cannot be done. It's not an answer.
And this is probably gonna sting a little bit. Isn't that what y'all hired Chris to do? I mean, that is written in the employee handbook that he would be the one handling those things. Y'all hired him.
So I'm gonna sing back, okay?
That's fine.
Yes, that's exactly what we hired him to do. And I can absolutely appreciate that he is standing here battling for you guys. He is putting up everything he can to keep you guys on the schedule that you want. But I'm disappointed that I didn't get to talk about this before it became your schedule. And that now, after you said it started in February, that 4 months later, 4.5 months later, that's why I'm getting the phone call. Because for the first 5 months, I didn't get phone calls about the city hall not being open. But when we changed, that's when they started. And while I am appreciative, I also know that I have to do what's right for the citizens, and I don't feel like we're doing that. Not when we're giving them 50% of our work time every year. And you guys aren't gonna like it. I've already decided there's not many people in this town I'm not gonna piss off at some point. And but I'm gonna make a motion that we change to a 5A because I think it's more important for us to be here and be visible and be effective. And
can I ask that before I take a second on that we give a little bit of time frame if we're gonna make them change to get their schedules together, that it doesn't start immediately?
Absolutely. Let's go with October 1 when the budget changes.
I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
I'm gonna disagree. So,
Greg Sprinkle.
Cecilia Irvin.
Motion passed 4-1. Okay, we're gonna move on from there. C, discussion and action to approve West Tawakoni EDC financial, the report grant program for property exchangement and infrastructure for the new and existing businesses. Donna Milburn.
All right, we'll see if we can get this pulled up real quick.
That was very lenient if they started it next week.
Is this what's over there? This doesn't, what's over there, hold on.
All right, guys, thank you so much for letting me come and talk with you today. And I just want to let you know that there's not anything for you to vote on. I'm going to present and give some information to you. And then it's basically hopefully going to help you guys as you make your budget and decide what you're going to do next. But it helps you also to know what we're doing at the EDC regarding some situations that we're having with businesses and trying to help some of the businesses here and how we got to this point. So, it is not working. How about I point at you and you hit that button each time? It's always good to have.
Are we supposed to be able to see it?
Oh,
I can't see it.
well, Mary, then I'm just gonna leave you over there. So one of the things that came to my attention is that we had a business out here. We've got the large business development that is was hoping to come in front of the golf course with your gas station, your apartment complex, your hotel, and then townhomes. And I got a call from the developer of that, the first part for the gas station, who said he's out. So he's looking at pulling that development and not coming.
It's not coming.
That was his first call with me, that he's out. So one of the things that I did was I said, wait, let's meet, talk about it, tell me what's going on. And so what I found was he said, okay, and I'm very happy for Chris Kidwell here, who told him to reach out to me, reach out to the EDC, and see if we can do some help with permit fees and the cost of what he was being told was going to have to be done to come into the city. Mary? Our EDC has a budget this year that you guys approved, and we have $100,000 sitting in that budget for infrastructure. So the first thing I want to tell you, I want to pound on this and tell you, let us help you guys and help these businesses. We have money, we can help, and there's some things that we can do. So the developer sent me this email that Shannon Ferguson had sent him, telling him that the permit cost for the civils alone was going to be $23,250. And what he told me is, he said, that's extremely high, significantly higher than any other city he's ever worked in. And he said that with that kind of a permit fee for just civils, he's completely out, because there's other permit fees that go on after civils. So he sent me this email.
Can I ask you a question first? Are you still talking about the gas station?
Talking about the gas station, and then they're doing the apartment complex, supposed to be doing all of it.
Okay.
And he also has the property for the townhomes. So the apartments, the gas station, the townhomes, and the small small eating, whatever restaurant food he's going to have in there, or was going to have in there. Okay. So Chris reached out to him and let him know, here's what he's looking at right now. And he told the developer to contact me. And thank you, I'm so glad that he did that, because then we were able to sit down and I said, let me see what I can do. Let me see what can be done about this. So I contacted James, since he's at Deer Run and been part of this development process and contacting these individuals. So I asked the developer to send me some comparisons. If we're charging $23,500, what are other city charges? So he sent me a development that he's doing in the city of Gunter, 6 houses at 3,000 square feet each, and the permits there are about $5,000. So I got those documents. Then he sent me the 15,000 square foot commercial building. He's doing another gas station with a restaurant or a eatery inside, from the city of Dish. The city of Dish is also charging around $5,000, significantly different than $23,500. So I went to Quinlan, and I'm hoping in your packets, Mary, did you send
those fees, those long
I
sheets.
believe that.
So in your packets for city council, I asked to include the 4 sheets of what Quinlan uses to determine their permit fees. And their structure is set up the same way that we do. They have a contract with Bureau Veritas. And Bureau Veritas tells them exactly whatever the project amount is. So let's say the project amount is $3 million, then here are your fees. The city of Quinlan gets this amount, Bureau Veritas gets this amount, and that's it. And those fees are lower than what we were charging at the $23,500 level. So Shannon and Chris went to work on it immediately. And within 3 weeks, those fees were lowered to $3,282.60. And Shannon notified the developer that that's what they were going to be. And Chris said that right now it looks like there's about a 15% markup on the fees for overhead. So I want to let you know that Quinlan does not do any markup on their fees. They add nothing onto their permit fees. And that's one of the reasons that their permit fees with Bureau Veritas is significantly lower still than what the city of West Tawakoni is doing. Mary? So I want you to know, when you go from a civil permit cost that you tell a business that they're going to have to pay $23,250, and then 3 weeks later you say, no, you only have to pay $3,282. The city lowered its costs for permits by $19,967, almost $20,000 lowering. I don't know what's happened with other businesses that have wanted to come in, who've asked for permits, the pool hall that's going to want permits, the other people who want permits out here. That's terrific that this got lowered for this one developer. But whatever the difference, the $20,000 difference in the original price to the lowered price, raised a concern for us at the EDC. And we can help offset some permit costs, but we can't offset $20,000. I just want to tell you that. So let us help you. Let us help the businesses, but recognize we can't do a $20,000 help. Okay? So here's the other thing that's in your packet that I want you to understand, because before you go into your budget season, I want you to be aware that the EDC itself is looking at a significant loss of sales tax revenue, significant this year. So last year, these are all the numbers that go back to 2023. And in your packet, I've got to give credit to Casey Laughlin, my great business guy on the EDC board. He took all the numbers that Mary provided, the graph that she provided, he put them in, and he came out with a business representation of the sales tax dollars from 2023 through today. And your packet should have it in a form that looks like this. It's easier to read than what you have on the screen. So look at that at your packet.
I don't think we got it. Did we?
Is it not in there? I've tried uploading it twice. I will look at it. I've had some issues with the files uploaded properly.
Well, we're giving Casey credit for it, but I'm gonna leave it here so you can have her make copies of it and make sure you guys get it. So I want to let you know that last year, next slide, please. Last year, our sales tax revenue for the EDC for the year 24-25 was $128,967. So that was by September 30th before we started our new budget year. Right now, as we sit with our current sales tax revenues to the EDC as of June 30th, we are only at $60,261.
Do you have something to attribute that to?
Yes, I do.
Good, thank
and
you.
I'll show you that in the next slide. So right now, our monthly portion of the sales tax is approximately $5,000 a month. But even if I go back to the 2025 numbers that were significantly higher than we're getting right now, the prediction at the best would be we get another $19,000, which means our sales tax revenues for 25-26 are going to be $79,373. That means we have lost $49,000 in sales tax revenue from this year, for this year compared to last year.
That's 66, 2/3.
That's is
Yeah.
huge. And the problem when you have this kind of a loss for us, it's going to translate most likely into the same kind of problem you guys as a city are going to have, is our budget for this past year was estimated to be $90,000. We thought that was a reasonable thing with 128 coming in. Well, we didn't meet our budget. We didn't bring in nearly enough money. And so next year, we're going to have to change the way we do our budget. We start our budget workshop next Monday, and we're going to have to calculate for less money and smaller sales. Next slide, please. And this is why I think we have so much less in sales tax revenue. These are the businesses that have been lost from our city in just the last 6 months. Penny Mart convenience store that was open for over 20 years is now closed. H&F Wrecker Services that was open for over 16 years, closed in May. Doors and More Services that were going strong a year ago in June when he came to me and he gave me the information and he was putting stuff out there, he's closed. Batty's Beauty Bar and Developing Leaders Within Foundation, these are the two brand new businesses that came in and rented space there at the RV park. And the owner of Developing Leaders Within Foundation in Lamont, they joined the chamber, they were interested, they wanted to make it work. They closed both of those businesses within, I want to say 2 months.
Yeah, 2-3 months.
2-3 months of being here.
Call it a sound business.
Oh, my doggy grooming business has left the city. It's gone to the top of the hill. So they've left. And that's almost closed. Thank goodness they didn't close. And I'm going to tell you about 4 businesses without telling you their names, because it's not really appropriate, in my opinion, being the head of the EDC, to give you the names of the businesses out in a public setting of the things that they're saying to me. Business 1, I want to let you know, on Highway 276, had completed a Passant grant application. And then when they saw that they had to do the permitting with the city and pay the permit fees and work here with the city, they withdrew the grant application. They said their business is struggling. They're not paying those permit fees, and they're not dealing with the way the city runs right at this time. Business number 2 is on the south side of the city. He put in a grant application for the facade, and he wanted a parking lot grant, and his business doesn't actually have customers coming in, but he got excited. He was going to do a whole full front on his business. He was going to do a parking lot, have a nice sign, make it all look nice. And then when he got the application and he started reading that he had to come in and get permits with the city and pay the permit fees, he withdrew it. He said, I'm out, not doing that, not paying those fees, and I'm not dealing with the drama that comes with that. Business number 3 on this highway, their owner says they're not making it. They're doing everything they can, they're not making it, and they don't know how much longer they're going to be able to stay open despite trying to do all different kinds of businesses. Business number 4 that I've been approached to see if maybe they might consider joining the city, asking to become a part of the city. That I told you guys I was working with them. We got the corporate people on up the ladder to know we were doing that back in October, started kind of greasing the wheels for that. At this point, they're out. Because a lot of these people, you got to remember, we're in a small town. These people all talk to each other. So when they're hearing the concerns about the permit fees and what the city is charging, what the city wants, they feel like they're too high and they don't want to have to do whatever those steps are. So next slide, Mary. It's important for you guys to know that right now our city is charging higher fees than Quinlan, and that the new businesses that we're planning on building across the street here, the gas station, the food, the apartments, the strip mall, the hotel, and the townhomes, are all on the verge of pulling out. If they pull out, they lose millions. I can't tell you how much they paid for that street. They have invested, they have bought that land, they have paid for all kinds of things. So if they make the decision to leave, it costs them significantly. It's better for them to stay, and it's better for us to have them stay. We're going to be determining how much money we should put in the budget for next fiscal year to assist, but we would like for the city of West Tawakoni to reassess its current fee structure and become more business friendly. I can only do so much when I go out to these businesses and they are complaining to me and they are angry, and I can only encourage them not to be angry, to let them know that we're going to be there for them. Now, most of you have not been here the 20 years that I've been here. So you don't know that when I first came out here, and if you talk to people who've been here 40 years, they can tell you this too, but even more than I can. But the 20 years that I've been out here, we had Ferguson's, which was a great breakfast, lunch restaurant. They made so much money. We ate there 3 days a week. They sold it because they made a profit. They could retire. We had the barbecue restaurant. We had the catfish restaurant. We had Margie's grocery store that we shopped at. We had Texas Swing. It was called something else back in that time. We had 2 billiards halls. We had Gilligan's that was open. We had 2 restaurants down here. It was Monroy's, and then there was a Texas restaurant. There were a lot of things happening in this city, and they have just slowly, over 20 years, declined and gotten less and less and less. And one of the things that's different now than what was happening back then, 20 years ago, is there were tax abatements that were being provided to businesses. So, for example, Billy's gas station and convenience store, when Billy's opened, they did not have to pay taxes for 10 years. Billy's Donuts didn't have to pay taxes for a period of time. There are tools out there to offer businesses tax abatements and tax delays and to help with that so they can get in here and get running before they have to pay all of those fees. And as I told you guys when I came on the EDC, I don't have the background knowledge tool set to do that. And in addition, I don't think that's what EDCs do. That's what the cities do. Cities are the ones who have to write up those contracts and see what they're going to offer. I couldn't go out and offer Bob's Donuts, hey, if you'll come here and build your thing right here, we'll offer you no taxes for 5 years. I'd come back and tell you guys I offered them no taxes and you would laugh at me. Actually, you'd probably raise your voice at me. It's not my job. I can't do that. But I want you guys to really look at this. And then I want to tell you what it is that we can do and what we're going to try and do. I met with Debbie at Quinlan EDC, and we sat down and we talked about exactly what Quinlan EDC is doing. And what she explained to me is that their EDC is currently doing things for new businesses and upgrading businesses. Their EDC will put in water and sewer lines for a business, and you're allowed to do that in our code in Texas. They do help buildings where they want water taps, sewer taps, alleys, paving that directly helps the business. They do have incentive grants for their downtown area. So when you go downtown and you see all those buildings being redone and all those new restaurants in there, Main Street looks wonderful. Part of that is because they have a property enhancement incentive. They pay $10,000 for every $20,000 spent, up to $100,000. So when a business comes in and they buy and they take one of those buildings, when they spend $200,000 to renovate that building, their EDC gives them $100,000. And we don't have that kind of money. They have $3 million out there. But we're not going to have that kind of money if we don't get businesses to be coming in here. So what we want to do is we've got the $100,000 available in the budget towards infrastructure. So we want to encourage everyone watching on YouTube who has a business out here, they know they want to do business. Everybody who comes to you guys on city council, city, and says, we want to do a business, tell them about the EDC. Tell them to come to us and see what kind of financial help we can give. Because we can and we will, to save businesses or to help new businesses come in. For the infrastructure help, also in your packet, I had asked for Mary to include a copy of the road workshop that we did in February of 2020. And the reason for that, and if it didn't come in, I've got several copies, you can each take one. The reason that this road study is included in this is because we paid a very professional company to come in and do a huge road study. We had a workshop in 2020. We had 3 phases of road repairs. Most of those road repairs on that work have been done. The only road that was left in phase 3 that's not been completely completed is the one that was supposed to be done by 2021, and that's Shoreline Drive, the 3,005 feet that were supposed to be repaved. Shoreline Drive, by the way, has a whole lot of potholes and problems, but we can't help with those streets. What the EDC can help with is roads to businesses like Rabbit Cove Road, Maze Lane, and Tomahawk Drive that goes down to Anchor Inn. If you have a business that wants to come in and wants to build someplace where they're going to be putting a road to that business, we can help with that road. So again, before you pass on the cost for water sewer lines, for roads, for those kind of things, talk with us, work with us, let us try and help, because we're helping the business as well as helping the city. So one of the things that our EDC is proposing, you guys are in charge of this, not us. We are proposing that the city council review all your permit fees used and that you lower those fees to be below Quinlan. I don't care if they're just a little bit below Quinlan. You see all those businesses being built up in Quinlan, and we're not getting any of those. And I'm gonna pass this around for you guys. This is the permit fees for Paradise Quick Stop and Taco Casa. These are the permit fees that they paid for that, and the permit fees that they paid for the car wash in Quinlan. So when I go to Quinlan and I get this information from them, it's open record. They're very helpful. They're very wonderful people there. So I'm just going to be talking. They're like, here, let me print this out for you. This stuff that they gave me took them literally 2 minutes to go to their computer, print it out, show me what Bureau Veritas was charging, show me what they do for their permit fees. So we're asking for y'all to consider, review these to see about lowering the permit fees here. We're suggesting that you do not add a percentage of administrative costs on top of your fees until more businesses have opened. When we're looking at a sales tax drop of the amount of money that's dropped over the last year, and then all these businesses have left, and then our new businesses are not opening, we want to encourage something to bring businesses here. The third is, and this is going to be touchy, I know, but I want to suggest as council that you recognize that when we spend money on an event, like $17,000 on a 6-hour catfish festival, it was a wonderful event. I loved it. It was over $12,000 that came from the city for the 6-hour event, $5,000 that came from the EDC for a 6-hour event. I want you to look at your sales tax revenues. 0 increase in sales tax revenues from that catfish festival. Now the EDC can justify spending the money, the $5,000, because part of that is marketing for us. We're trying to market the city. Having a catfish festival in the catfish capital of Texas is a very smart thing to do from an EDC perspective and also from a city perspective. But my suggestion to you is when you look at your budget and you start planning your budget, if we have $12,500 in the city budget to pay for a catfish festival, see if you can allocate some money of the budget towards helping with lower these permit fees.
So I just want to make it clear, we used hot money for the catfish festival.
Yes.
Which we can't use for permit fees.
Yes,
So
I know.
Touch misleading, a little bit misleading,
Which is true.
we could only use that for things that would bring tourists to the city. Water pipes don't do it.
Yeah, thank you. And we can help with water pipes.
Thank you.
So that's what our goal is. And then the other thing that I'd like to propose you consider is not to add permit requirements for business owners that are renting space in buildings. And this is what I mean by this. The two businesses that came in that then left, your Batty Beauty, whatever that was, and Lamont's business for the Leadership Foundation. Mary had asked me if I would stop by and let them know that they needed to come into the city and pay fees and register their businesses with the city, and that there were permit fees to operate their businesses here. And I was taken aback a little bit. I said, well, wait a minute, Mary. I'm a psychologist and I've run a business for 40 years up in Plano. I've rented space in Plano in 4 different buildings. I never had to register my business or get a permit fee from Plano to operate. And I called out, I checked with a bunch of my friends, doctors, lawyers, psychologists, and a couple of people who have small shops in Greenville. They don't have to register their businesses with Greenville, nor my friends in Richardson, nor my friends in Dallas. So we registered with the county. So my business was registered with Collin County, but I didn't have to go and do a separate registration with the city of Plano. So just something to think about, whether or not you want to have businesses, if they come in and they rent space, to then turn around and have to register separately with the city. Just kind of a thought. Our Texas Local Government Code, section 502.101, says that the EDC administrator, which is me, city attorney, city administrator, city clerk, we are required to take the economic development sales tax workshops within 90 days of taking office, and this training must be repeated every 2 years. My recommendation to this city council is that you guys consider going and attending that workshop as well. It's a great workshop. It has the information about how to do tax reductions, abatements, and incentives to business. I can go to that workshop all day long and come back and try and tell y'all how to do it, and I promise you that will fall short. Okay? I mean, we could pay Lee to come in and teach us how to do that, because as an attorney, she can show you how to do that. But again, our EDC is paying $500 a month for you, Lee. So let's not increase that. That's not coming in the budget to increase. But it's not that expensive for you to go. It's like $275. And if you can go to it, it would be really helpful, I think, for you guys to find some ways to do those tax abatements. Okay, because I can't teach you outside my wheelhouse. That's the last slide. So this presentation was meant to be informative to you guys, not anything for you guys to vote on. We don't need to do a specific grant application like we did for parking lot grants or park grants, because instead, each business needs different things. So when they come to us and they say, can you help us with the electricity, with this or that, when we're renovating the building, we will write up an individual process contract with them, with Lee's help, to try and make that happen. We don't want businesses, any more businesses on 276 closed, to have empty buildings sitting here. We want the buildings that are here that can be renovated and rehabbed, up and running and working. Ed? Okay. And when people come in and they buy those buildings, they were intent on making that work. We want to help you make that work. Okay. So right now we are proceeding forward to respond to requests to help the businesses. And we've got a budget right now, at least until October 1st, that allows us to do that. Our budget will be shrinking next year, but I wanted to let y'all know we're out there to help and to give you the information about this so that y'all can look at your budgets and see if there's something you can do to help all businesses with these fees. Thank you for letting me have time to speak. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So it's written as discussion and action, but there's no action to take. Council, any additional feedback before we move on?
Yeah, where did we learn about that, workshop or,
On the TML website.
It's TEDC, and Mary can send you the, I'll make her go with me. That's one of those things about having that person on your board. Thank you guys very much for doing that. And so they've got, Richardson is coming up in, I believe, November.
Okay. Any other discussion?
If you don't bring in businesses, you won't have any money.
But what was the permit fees that they're being charged for, like the ones that had the, getting the grants running? What was the cost of it?
So you mean for the development of the gas station?
No, for the ones that were getting the facade, the front, I guess they were getting grant, they're gonna get money from you,
They were applying for grants.
They were applying for grants.
and then, but they didn't want to come get the permit. What was the permit fee for it,
No, I do not. What I know is that both, those are two separate business owners who do not know each other.
Yeah.
And they both said the same thing to me, which was very open regarding they're not doing that based on previous interactions.
The thing that you said about people that are renting spaces, it seems to me that the owners of that building are the ones that are supposed to have the inspections and the permits done in order to have that person moved in. That's a coordination thing. So I'm a little confused about that statement.
Well, usually when, at least in other cities, when somebody owns a building,
Right.
they get a certificate of occupancy from
Right.
the city. Then when they rent out that space to businesses, those businesses don't have to register with the city itself. Okay, so the city of Plano never came in and said to me, Dr. Melvin, let me see your license. let me see you're this or you're that, that's
Right.
supposed to be on the wall. City of Plano didn't care. The building has a certificate of occupancy, but not the individual businesses that were functioning inside. Now, the county, you register your business with the county because you have to pay for all your property in there, any new furniture, anything that you do.
Right.
You have to show that and the county takes money for that.
Is there a difference in a service related, like, I didn't register my law office in the city of Sulphur Springs, right? But we're also more service driven. You're not a general store open to the public where you wouldn't necessarily, might actually need that certificate of occupancy. And I wonder if you're seeing any difference between what would be also for like heavy machinery sorts of businesses or commercial businesses like that. I have set up before businesses in which one entity might own a business or own a building and the other one operates, and it's still really the same person operating both. That would be my concern, especially when you're talking about a big commercial building or commercial operation, industrial operation. Are you seeing any difference there?
I'm not, because we don't have businesses out here like
Well,
that, at this point. You're in your separate larger businesses like Griggs Mechanical or, forgive me for my blank there, because it's a wonderful welding shop. He's going to be irritated that I don't.
Okay.
Thank you. And so they have their own buildings, so they have certificates of occupancy that are there. And I got to tell you, sometimes I do kind of hear from business owners like that when they get calls from somebody working at the city and they're asked to take a picture with their phone of their certificate of occupancy to prove they have it and that it's on the wall. Business owners will say anything from a range of, oh, that's fine, it's no problem, it was a little bit irritating, we've been here forever. And then I get some who are like angry. So I don't know what's happening with the businesses right now, but I know they're not feeling it's a real business friendly environment here in the city. And the two businesses that were there, the beauty nail salon, she was just doing pedicures. So she's was kind of doing a service, and he was going to mentor and teach sports and basketball and stuff to kids, which is a service very similar to what I would do and what you would do.
Right. I was really more inquiring if we were seeing in the other cities you were talking to, there was a difference, or when you're talking about that renter, somebody's renting a industrial, larger commercial operation, they were still paying the fee. And like I'll use like a Family Dollar. I've done ones where the certificate of occupancy where this is a building that is probably owned by someone else, but the business itself is the one that needs that certificate, and that is a public. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. There's a difference, and I would say that we might investigate what the difference is.
Yeah.
Once a use comes into a building, there may be permits or certificates or licenses that are required for that specific use. For example, for a nail salon doing pedicures, then they've got wastewater leaving that business, and that requires a certain set of permits and inspections. So, yes, owners should be getting the basic permits for their buildings, et cetera. But once a specific use comes into that building, then that's going to require, by our codes and for health reasons and safety reasons, sort of permits and inspections.
So that's why it ought not to be every business that rents a space, but it definitely needs to be some businesses. Like we heard about somebody who's now having a machine shop or a motorcycle repair shop next door in a garage. That would certainly be something that I think the city would go, oh, let's look at that. That's because you've got, the wastewater and the stuff that comes from that. And just as an aside, to let you know, when I pulled up all the permitting for what they have to do for the gas station, the permitting, once they get done with this city, which we wanted to get those prices lowered, and we did a good job on the first set of civils, but the permitting they then have to do with the county and with the state is astronomical. You're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars that they have to put in because they have to show the state of Texas what they're doing with the gasoline, where it's going, with their waste. They have to answer to the state of Texas and Sabine River Authority. And our city doesn't need to step into that feeling like we need to monitor how they're doing that because the county will monitor and the state will monitor. And the biggest fee is to be able to sell beer and wine. You're gonna sell alcohol, those fees are just exorbitant. So,
Again, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion, council? Okay, we'll move on from there. D, presentation from James to formally request a trade of property with West Tawakoni EDC for their home property at 1300 East Highway 276, West Tawakoni, Texas 75474. Property ID 21765 for the city-owned property at Highway 276, West Tawakoni, Texas 75474. Property ID 110225. Property next to the city park and Deer Run Golf Course. James.
The building a new city hall is something we have been talking about for a long time. The city never had one. It's important that we have one, and I think we can afford it. Or at least we found a path. I made some budget workshop sheets and gave it to you and Chris and everything. So there is a path. I think we may be able to build it in 2 years. So the best place to build it is in front of the city park. The land owned by EDC, that's 1300 Texas 276, seems to be the ideal place. It's got to be visible to people coming into the city, that people going into the park. Park is an important, landmark for us. So that is the best place. We talked about all of that. So EDC, we had discussions with EDC. They are willing to trade that land with another acre of city land in front of or next to the hamlets. So that's the park.
yes, and the EDC has talked about this several times, so I want to let you know that I'm not sure that my board would vote for a trade for slicing up that undeveloped land to just 1 acre of it and leave the other acre with the city. My board seems to feel very strongly that the property that we own is in a strategic spot with a completed building that has running electricity, that is ready for rental, and the actual value of that property is worth as much as the full wooded property that's not developed. And so I know my board I can't say what they would vote, but I can tell you what they're saying in the meeting. Sounds like they would want an even trade between the two.
Why do we want to trade that property?
So, go ahead, go right ahead.
It's just the property within the woods across the street from it. It's a lot nicer than the property
The property that we have.
I have math. Yeah. And then it's the value's got to be way different between the two, even with the house.
I'll pass these around. I'll help you, Chad, with these numbers. So I agree we need a city hall. Don't want to discount that at all. We absolutely do. The two pieces of property that we're talking about, and I'm going to talk strictly about size and appraised value. Size is 1 acre, 0.96 versus 2.55 is what we have now. They have 0.96. Is theirs in a cooler spot than ours? By a couple hundred yards, yes. However, there's a new easement coming in behind that wooded area that's going to be SRA property, really, because it's going to be drainage behind that area. It's 2 acres, dollar for dollar, 131 for the one that, yeah, the 131, 150 is what the 2025 appraised value was of their property, of the EDC property. In 2024, it was 142, 550, so it lost 8% in the last 12 months. I'm looking at the numbers I took off the Hunt County CAD. Okay, the property that we have is 2.55 acres, and in 2024 it was worth 125, 550, and it went up 41% to 176, 670 in 2025. So you're talking about trading a decreasing value property for an increasing value property.
No. Actually, we're trading an acre for an acre.
She just said she doesn't think they're,
Well, what I've recommended is that, we trade an acre for an acre. That's not the whole thing.
But why would we want to
Yeah.
downgrade the size of the land that we got? We're
Size of the
building
land
new
is
city
2.5
hall.
acres. We'll just carve out an acre.
Property that the house
Right.
is on it is not big enough.
it's 0.96, and I honestly think that, I'm not disagreeing with that. What I would like to propose is that we look at alternative options. Because if we have 2.5 acres today that's attached to the park and it's gonna have an easement on it, it's gonna have that, and it's wooded and all that kind of stuff today. And the value of their property is, based on tax rolls, is $131,500 or $150. It's really interesting because the 5 residential properties that we have in town, the cumulative value of those properties is within $400 of that value of $131,000. So if we absolutely had to have that piece of property, then there are other ways for us to actually look at it and do it. I absolutely do not want to give up the 2.5 acres that we have.
Nobody
I don't
said-
even want to give up 1 acre of it.
Okay, now let me look at
Okay.
give me a
Let's
look at the numbers. Where is the 1300?
Right here. This is the
This-
EDC property.
okay, so it's 131,000, right?
Yes.
So and our property for 2.5 acres is 176.
Correct.
That's for 2.5 acres.
Mhm.
So how much is it for 1 acre?
It depends on if it's the acre back by the easement or the acre up by 276.
So if 1.25 would be 85 acres, $85,000.
No, because it depends on which half you take.
We're proposing that they take the western side of it. Okay, the western side, 1 acre. So that's only worth half, 86,000. Theirs is worth 131,000.
Okay,
So we are making a profit. So it's not that we're
on paper.
on paper. So we got to make some determination sometime along the way.
Yes, but I hate to give up 2.5 acres.
No. Nobody ever said.
Oh, you're saying give up 1 acre of it.
We want to, I never ever said 2.5 acres. 1 acre for 1 acre.
Why do you want that property so bad?
What?
So why do you want the property so bad? Like,
That
what do you
property,
want to do?
I think that is a better place for people to come to see the city hall. That's, I think, a better place.
What do you want
I
to do
think-
with the other acres? What do you want to do and when you want to trade for?
So we take their property,
Right, but the one that you want to trade for, the other acre, what do you want to do? with
1
it?
acre of the 2.5 acres.
Right.
So
But
they
this is
get
like
that.
the 3rd or 4th time you tried to get that property there. What do you want to do with the acre itself?
That acre? No, they get the 1 acre. I'm not understanding your question.
Like, what, I guess, why do they want to trade?
What are we trading?
Yeah.
We're trading their 0.96 acres
Right.
that EDC has.
Why wouldn't we just build on the nicer property versus building on the property that don't have any trees or anything?
No, that's what I'm saying. That property doesn't have any trees.
Right.
That's why we want that. That's a better place, a better location.
I understand
We're taking
what he's asking is why wouldn't we build on the 2.5 acres we have
Why
now?
wouldn't we clear it out, make it look like a park
that.
setting?
We just
build it out
only,
there?
they're only about an acre anyways for city hall. Why would we, why not sell the rest of, acre and a half? So we can make some money out of it and build our city hall. Why would we just be too expensive?
Wouldn't it cost more money to tear that building down versus build on what we already have?
For more money to do
But
what?
to tear that building down and then build versus just clear the land and build right there.
No, we're not building at the same location of the other building. The 1300,
The one next to the park is where you want to build City Hall.
So we would have to tear
yeah,
the
we
building
want to
down.
build the city hall next to Armlets. There's a little cement pad. That's where we want to build it, not where the existing red building is.
He wants y'all as a city to keep the building. Will you use it for
We'll
your
keep
storage?
There's not enough room in
Renovate.
between those two.
No.
That other building has to come down. There's no way, on 0.96 of an acre, you'll never get a decent sized building without taking that other one out of there.
44.96 acres is about 40,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
So when we build a 10,000 square feet building, let's just say in 2 stories, we only need 5,000 out of the 40 5,000 square feet. We only need 5,000 square feet land.
So you have
Floor plan.
Yeah,
So
parking,
40,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take 5,000, build it on 5,000, 5,000.
How much land is this right
Sorry.
here? That we're on right here.
What is it?
How much land? is
hang on,
this?
I'll tell you.
And we
I can tell you,
we
you know what
only
the value,
own-
you know what the value
we
of
only
this
own
place is?
Building right here.
You know what the value of this? 338,000.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this is like 1.14 acres that we're on right
I
now.
would guess 1 acre.
1.14, I think.
And I do want to let you guys know that if you do the trade, and I still have to go back to my board because they're not happy with the idea of dividing that property. But if the EDC had that property, you as a city still determine what happens with it. So let me remind you, when the EDC owns a property and somebody comes to us to want to buy it, develop it, do something on it, we can vote on that, but we don't have the power to say yay or nay. That has to come back to the city and the city council still makes a decision on that. So even though the property would be under the EDC label, you guys, the city council still has control over what happens with that property. The only benefit that I can see for the city not having control of the property and the EDC having it is that an EDC has the ability, if we were going to let somebody come in and build, or is going to be sold, we have the ability to kind of pick and choose who gets it to make sure it fits in right with the culture of the city and what we want kind of business-wise here. Whereas a city council, city government, my understanding, and Chris would probably know this even better, and Lee, a city itself doesn't have that same ability to make the decision. So for example, if you wanted to sell that property and you had somebody come in, it's zoned commercial, and you have somebody come in and they want to buy it and they offer you $1 million for that property, but they want to put a big old stinky pig farm on it. And somebody else comes in and they want to do this beautiful little retail shop and everything, but they only can pay $500,000 for it. As a city, I think you're required to take the higher bid. You have no choice about that. You can't say, we don't want a stinky pig farm, we don't like that kind of business. You have to take it, or I think you can be sued. An EDC, however, has the ability to go, a stinky pig farm doesn't fit with the city. We don't want to do that. We're going to go with the lower bid because we think this would be a great retail center. And then we still have to come back to y'all and we still control over what we do. But the other thing on this is I want to let you know, we voted on Monday that we would like for you as a city to make a decision about whether or not you want to make this trade by September 1st. We want to give the city council time to September 1st to make this decision if you don't make it tonight. And here's why we'd like to put a timeline on it. We've had that building up and ready to be rented now for almost a year. We had 3 renters come in and say they wanted to do it. And when the mayor approached me and said, hey, I think the city might want to use the building, we might want to rent it from you. You know, we work with the city. And I was like, well, let's kind of wait and let's see what they want to do. And I've had different back and forth. And then I was approached by Councilman James to do this trade. So we've been holding off on renting that now for almost a year. We're paying electricity on it every month. We're paying a mower on it every month. And so we'd like to rent it out, but we don't want to do that without y'all kind of making a decision if you want it or not. And if you make it a decision, we don't want to trade it by September 1st, we can then rent it out for 1 or 2 year rental. And in that way, in 1 or 2 years, the renter will be out and we can revisit this if you'd like. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Let me toss out an idea. What if we got just a sketch of what it would look like if we put it on 1 acre, or a sketch of what it would look like if we put it on 2.5 acres? And that way we can kind of make a better decision on what we think is the right way for the city, what fits into our overall plan better. Not an engineering thing, nothing like that. Just a sketch. I mean, somebody could sit down with ChatGPT and generate something like that.
Ramsey, sorry. It might look actually nicer on a 2.5 acre property, but what I was suggesting is that, we give 1 acre to the EDC, we still have an acre and a half. We sell it to somebody, then we make $1 million or $500,000. That's enough for us to build. So we make money, that's enough for us to build a city hall. Otherwise, if you build it on a 2.5
Yeah, let me know.
acres,
Let me know.
I'll sell for $1 million.
I understand the trade mechanic, but our balance sheet that I get to look at from time to time, we don't have a whole lot of debt. We could afford to build that building with mortgage, I believe. And we already own the land.
And we own this building.
And we we own this building. That even might free us to take this building and make it a police headquarters in a court. I think we need to look at the overall plan and let's make sure that that we're not rushing into the transaction without knowing really what it's going to look like.
Okay, so
And I want to do this because I've gone out and walked that property with you. I think I'd like to see the concept fleshed out.
so it's actually not on here to vote. It was a presentation. I suggest we get it on a workshop so we can sit down and figure all that out and come up with some better ideas. I know that they're wanting an answer, but we couldn't actually give them an answer anyway because they don't know whether they come off the 1 acre or they want all 2.5 or whatever. So.
And we're giving you up to September 1st.
Yeah.
Plus $1 million.
We can draw a picture by then.
Yeah.
I'll reach out tomorrow. I might have somebody that can.
So let's do a workshop then.
Okay. It's almost an acre, but we don't own all of it, do we?
We don't own the building. We don't own this parking lot. Right?
That part's not over there, yeah.
Yeah,
That belongs
like
to
to the edge of the building, and like just a little bit over the edge. It's
I
not.
don't even know. I don't even know.
No, you cannot expand.
That's fine. I would say.
Yep. Okay, so we agreed to a workshop.
Do workshop.
I don't know if y'all want to schedule that workshop tonight or how y'all want to do it.
I would say if we can, schedule it.
I mean, a workshop is to what?
To come up with some more ideas.
Ideas on the city hall.
Yes.
It's the location, is how do we fund it, do we trade it? The properties, all of those things.
What's our next meeting we have?
23rd,
And then it starts at
30.
6:30. That's a workshop. Do we want to come in a little earlier and deal with it on that one? They come in at 6 and that's where we start off at 6 is with that. You got time to get it on an agenda?
Is that going to allow us enough time to actually work on the budget?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
as long
the thing
as
is-
we,
Or do we need to do pick another evening?
that's what I'm saying, if we were gonna start the workshop at 6:30, we start at 6, knock this out first and then just go into the other.
How much time are you
And if we
going
don't
this
finish
workshop?
this in 30 minutes, then we can add more time at another meeting.
Yeah, that's good with that.
Is everybody good with that?
Coming in at 6.
6 on the 23rd. We're already scheduled to be here at 6:30. And the first part of that discussion at 6 will be,
Chad, that give you enough time.
where,
Hey, just, and maybe.
You never know.
I'll try my best.
50-50
I probably right at 6 o'clock.
so,
Yeah, I was already 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I was on time.
come in, I'm like, what? Anyway, so that'll give us a chance to discuss the ideas of a building, location, how to come up with money. We may not finish it in 30 minutes and we can add on to from there, but we're not gonna get anywhere here for sure. Everybody agree? Any other discussion?
No.
So we can move on from there. 9, legacy project progress. A, discussion and possible action on updates from Council Place One.
You're not currently having updates on that.
Okay. Moving on, B, discussion and possible action on updates from
Thank
Council Place Two.
John, so we're talking about the stoplight or red light actually on Base Lane and 276, right? So we had asked them to do a study, so they did a study. We have
They did do a study?
They did a study, yeah.
Okay, we need to remember that we are doing paperwork. Let's get it to Mary ahead of time because Mary should have a copy of this. So if we're gonna bring in paperwork for everybody, let's make sure it gets to Mary prior so that she has it.
This looks like the same thing twice.
Listen, yeah, they did a study and did not meet the requirement.
That's all they say. Is there a reason
You
why?
just told us that.
Yeah, but this is more. They
Mary,
did.
here's five.
What was the study? What did they study exactly?
What did they study?
Yeah, like what are the findings of the study, do you know?
The finding is that, it doesn't warrant. But how did they do the study? I don't know. Let's just, I think you can move on to.
Okay, so we had already moved on to B, discussion and possible action on updates from Council Place Two.
One of the things on the data modernization or whatever, we got our folders now coming from OneDrive. What I was wondering though, it looked like it was a share from Mary's personal OneDrive.
It's from my city's OneDrive.
It is?
Yes. it's my
Okay.
city's OneDrive.
I
I don't have it personal.
Yeah, no, the URL just looked like that. Okay, Chris, do we need to talk some more about that structure? Is there anything that we need to follow, that I need to?
The recommendations you provided, we're gonna be sharing with the IT team, so if you can move forward as presented.
Okay.
One folder.
It
was like clicking on something, looking at it, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going back to.
You will?
Forward the email.
You print them all out.
The other thing that I'd like us to start considering is how we can get, within this structure now that we're gonna have, better governance and control over those folders, is how we can get the capability to use some generative AI. Because, and all of us here, I mean, raise your hand if you don't use ChatGPT. All right.
It depends on
I'm
the
just
purpose of
saying,
it.
I think we need to get ourselves in a position where we can use ChatGPT for analysis on site and not have to take data off site and work and do our analysis and things with it using AI within our IT structure. I think that'll tighten things up. I think it will make a lot of our analysis easier, tighter. And I can send some documentation about safeguards, risks, whatever. I can send that to you.
So you're just gonna send some stuff and recommend us look at it. There's no motion at this time.
Correct.
Anything else?
So I'm guessing from the audit standpoint, we're not gonna make the time for the SB 500 grant.
We need to have, kind of a go, no-go conversation with Jacob and Martin about the timeline. They've been very patient, but as I've indicated, our auditor's still pulling samples and still digging. So I think we're really close to out of time, but, I owe Jacob and Martin a reply email as of today, so
Yeah.
I'll get that conversation restarted with them and then update council.
Can you give us some specifics on what it is that the auditors
Yeah,
are still looking for?
Hold on. Where do you have that email in? I got it.
Haley,
I got it.
it was more, further samples for 25, so, they have not requested anything more from 23 and 24's, fiscal year. He is digging further into 25's fiscal year. Just couldn't tell you as to why, you just sent me that, so.
I mean, are they like invoices, or is he still looking at?
I mean,
the
he's
accounting
asked for more
PTO?
payroll reports, he's asked for more, cash disbursement backup. He's asked for, like he had asked for the retirement data. There's still general audit preparation data.
Cash receipts, cash disbursements, specific samples he wants additional backup on. And then as of today, hitting up TMRS for the backup on the pension plan. That's all actually public data. He can just get straight from them, but we had to get that information from them so that he can do it. Yeah, he's still digging.
Good. I mean, I hate it if we miss that deadline, but I'm delighted with the fact that he is a bulldog and he's going to stay with it until it's done.
Needs to be very thorough.
Okay, that's it for me.
That's it. Move on from there. C, discussion and possible action on updates from council place 3.
A couple of things I have, for the park, we, were able to, get a couple more donors for a few more tables. I gave the check to them the other day, so we're up to 11, I think, 10 or 11 now out of the 32 that we want. Mary got us 5 of them ordered and delivered, a week or 2 days ago, so we've got, 5 to be assembled. If anybody wants to come to the assembly party, let me know. The flag retirement memorial, no longer being called the pit. Flag retirement memorial is, they're gonna start on, I believe, July 27th, the week of the 27th. We met out there the other day, so Chris, I'll get with you on a plaque thing. And we are looking for, a donation of an urn for, some kind of cistern, some sort of vault that we can put the ashes in when they're done. And I did talk to, Debbie Runyon with, the American Legion the other day, and got some good ideas from her as well. So, as far as that goes, it's just about ready to go. Audit progress we just got. New elementary school. Since we have a West Tawakoni ISD, according to some document we had last week. I expect us to have an elementary school any day now.
Come and gone.
Come and gone. Yeah, they've already retired the school. It's a modernized, it's done. That's all I have.
I have a question.
Ask away.
Okay, this urn that you're talking about putting the ashes in.
Mhm.
So everybody
vault.
just kind of
It's
goes
gonna be
in
a
the vault. Everybody just hauls in there.
No, there's only one ceremony a year. It's June 14th. Flags are retired on June 14th in a traditional flag retirement ceremony. There will be a locked lid on top of the flag retirement memorial stone item. There will be a locked top on the vault. And when the ceremony is over, the ashes have cooled. They will be collected and they will be put in the vault.
So it's the flag ashes that are going in.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, did you not think?
I'm wondering who's.
Holy cow! Wow!
No, she was thinking, if I understand that the flag donations would go into said vault before the ceremony, right?
No. Sure, no.
No.
Thank you for trying to say.
This one.
Okay, so then when that vault gets filled, no matter what kind of ashes you're putting in there, then you just get a new one.
Well, then we'll probably have to dig a hole and put them in the ground.
No, you get a new vault.
We'll get a second vault, but I'm thinking 30 years.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not like there's not a giant pile of ashes, and we're talking about the vault we're looking at right now is, I believe it's 18 by 18 by 4 feet deep, and it'll be ground level. So,
Oh, okay.
how many years will it take to fill that up? Hopefully never, but if it does, I will assume that whatever futuristic person 40 years from now that council will decide what a reverent way to deal with those ashes.
But it's only for that location?
It's only for that ceremony.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because I know that, like, when I was volunteering at the library, their flag got torn up or stolen sometimes, but their flag got torn up. And, you know, would that come over there to be?
Yes,
done?
typically they'll take the flag to one of the service clubs or the fire department. We
Yeah.
collect it all year long and then we take them down there.
Exactly.
For the
And then we had, that's the reason we were doing the whole event, is so that we have a place to do it, a way to do it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows when it is.
Okay.
It becomes an annual event for the
So
park
it's
and
a
for the city.
community-wide thing. It's not-
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, thank you.
All three of the service establishments, and if there are others that are not included that aren't here that that I don't know about, then they're absolutely to be included or be invited as well.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Certainly. I'm glad to know that I'm not putting any other actions in the ball.
Me too.
That's all I got. I'm good.
Move on from there then. B, discussion and possible action on update from Council Place 4.
City Hall, we'll have the workshop, but I think regardless, we just need to, I think we need to allocate some money for, next 2 years to build something.
Keep that in mind when you're thinking about the workshop, where we're gonna get it from. What the hell you got?
Huh?
That all you got? E, discussion and possible action on update from Council Place 5.
Okay, so I'd like to end my evening with a positive note, since it's been kind of a downer day. You guys are doing an awesome job with the newsletter. I appreciate it. I want to keep reaching out to the different groups like y'all did. You printed it on there, please send me your information. And I just need to do better at getting out there and helping y'all remind people.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not getting anything in the email for any updates.
Because like right now, the library's got so much going for the kids and everything all the time, and that needs to be out there, for people to know about. So I will try to help you better with that. The self-service, Austin.
The interesting thing that I learned was that there is a cell tower already between City Hall and where they want us to put a cell tower.
Oh.
There is one. It's on the south side of the, is it back at the fire department? Or is it back at Dollar General? I'll have to go find it again, but I was back there, it was, behind Dale's.
Yeah.
I pulled into Dale's with a trailer the other day, and I had to park on the opposite side from where I normally park. And I pulled back there and I was having to back out, and I looked up and there's a cell tower right there in back of Dale's.
Is it?
And I'm like, how can there be a cell tower in back of Dale's and we can't get a cell signal?
It might not.
Maybe that's not tall enough.
Well, that's you.
Or maybe it's a tower.
I was like, that could be any kind of.
Okay, well, it's a tower with a bunch of those little discs and bars and stuff on it. And, yeah. Well, that means that they could put a cell thing on it. I mean, it's terrible.
Well, good to know.
So, I mean, that's inside the one that they want us to put it
Yeah.
in their circle that closer to Quinlan.
So
Doesn't make any sense. So let's do this.
they need
Let's,
boosters or something
yeah,
on it.
let's go find out who owns that tower. Okay. Behind Dale. Meet you at Dale.
What else you got?
That's it.
Good. Okay, so we'll move on from there. We have already handled item 10, so we'll move on to 11.
Move to adjourn.
I've got a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Let's go.
Greg Sprinkle.
James, Jim.
Cecilia Irvin.
We are adjourned at 9:19.
Hope so. I didn't expect to be home before